Folks, I thought, like a lot of you thought, that, oh, we'll touch on the Matt Gaetz stuff today, But by God, you know, how do you, in his case, how do you look at this stuff? And I don't know how you give it to. Why would you post this stuff? Why would you publish this stuff? Why would you give this to a newspaper and think it defends you? Now, along with the Project Homecoming document and the text messages that they got, which is an offer of a quid pro quo, it is not
Right.
extortion. It is an offer of a political favor to make a legitimate investigation into Matt Gaetz go away. They don't say how, other than by the publicity dwarfing it. Because if you bring Levinson home, you're a national hero. You're Charles Lindbergh. That's from Joe versus the Volcano, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know all
I
my
love
quotes.
that movie.
Yes, I do too. So what do they give? They give. What does Matt Gaetz give to the Washington Examiner, the original, by the way, financiers behind the Steele dossier? Which, when Trump actually got the nomination, the Washington Examiner decided not to use. They were going to originally use it to run interference to protect Jeb Bush and other Republicans from him. And then once it looked like he was going to run away with it, they didn't dare. So they sold it. They took it and they sold it to the, Fusion GPS sold it to the Hillary Clinton campaign. They looked at, and the DNC, and they said, we can't use this. It's gross. We think we're going to win anyways. We don't need to put this stuff out. This is like gutterball politics, and we don't need it. Everybody knows he's a scumbag. Like he
Right.
literally a video of him on Access Hollywood came out before the election. Why would we need to go to allegations of this, that prostitutes peeing on beds in Moscow from this, and then Steele goes to the FBI and goes, you don't understand, there's financial crimes in here. This dude's a criminal. He's dangerous. He's in league with the Russian mob. And that's where he went to John McCain. He's like, Hillary's not running with this stuff. Somebody needs to look into this. And McCain, because of his feelings about it being a Republican, wanting the Republican Party to survive, was a good person to bring it to the FBI. And again, the hell with Carter Page. We'll deal with that again on another date. He's a courier. He's a paperman. He's a paperboy. You don't discuss things with Carter Page. You give him an envelope. He flies to Russia on a free trip. He hangs out for 2 days, and he comes back with another envelope that he's dumb enough never to look in. So Don Gaetz. So what evidence does Matt Gaetz provide to the Washington Examiner that there's an extortion scheme against him? Well, text messages and a document that say the exact same thing, that proves, if you read them, that there is no extortion scheme. That it was a request for a loan that would get paid back with interest if they couldn't do what they were allegedly extorting from. What are you talking about? This drives me nuts. I don't know how you can. All right. So Don Gaetz' lawyer sends an email to the DOJ, and it says, this is from a guy named Jeffrey Neiman, who represents Don Gaetz. David Goldberg, who's he's the U.S. Attorney for Florida Northern District, okay? And in it, he goes, David, as you know, my client Don Gaetz, because you're buddies, was approached by two individuals to make a sizable payment. He'd already called him, so he sent this letter afterwards because he wants a chain of evidence that they had this communication. And why don't you say it over the phone if it's a secret investigation and you're trying to help the FBI? Why would you put it in writing like this? You see what I'm saying? To make a sizable payment in what I would call a scheme to defraud. What I would call, because I'm acting in my client's best interests, and
Right.
scheme to defraud. Don reported this to the FBI. The FBI is now asking Don to voluntarily and proactively assist in their investigation, which Don is willing to do. Please confirm that your office and the FBI would like Don's assistance in this matter, and that he will be working at the government's request. Okay, so he sent that to David Goldberg. David, that's the one they responded back. Counsel, I can confirm that your client is working with my office as well as the FBI at the government's request in order to determine if a federal crime has been committed. This has been discussed This has been discussed with and approved by the FBI as well as the leadership of my office and components of Maine Justice. The government thanks you for working cooperatively with the FBI. And then there's a business card that this dude gave out that he has that was given to him. This guy Stephen Alford, that has like this watercolor thing from Captum Consultants LLC. That's the evidence that Matt Gaetz provided. None of this. So what do we have here? We have two instances, both in text and in a written document that they sent to him, that they handed. It's folded. It's not an email. This is a folded document. This was given by hand to Don Gaetz from these folks, that is, or by a courier to him in paper form. So obviously these guys aren't afraid of typing up their request, knowing full well that the only person that gets hurt by this, if people actually read the damn thing, is Don Gaetz and Matt Gaetz. Right. Because, and then basically then Don Gaetz, who's a former state representative and is all gnarled up in the healthcare industry in Florida, and his son is a sitting congressman, sends a friendly letter to a buddy in the Florida Justice Department, in the Attorney General's office, and basically gets a favor in return. Hey, dude, can you send? I remember what we talked about on the phone. Can you send me a letter that says, yeah, he's working with the FBI, but I can't say whether they're wiring him up and stuff. Yeah, you don't have to say that. Just say that they're working to see if a crime has been committed. That's enough. Okay, because that's all I can legally say. That's it. These are two buddies in Florida politics writing each other a letter about the allegation that two buddies in Florida politics are engaged in a quid pro quo. That the only reason, and Don Gaetz was willing to pay for it. He was starting the process before the FBI got involved. Lord Almighty. I don't understand. I mean, I understand Matt Gaetz is dumb, right? I get it. But it is horrifying how lazy and I mean, you want to talk about like privilege. You want to talk about how arrogant do you have to believe that this actually would work? That anybody reading these documents would go, oh yeah, he's totally being extorted. This is terrible. This is, oh my God.
They're just counting on people not reading the documents?
Yeah. Unfortunately, they weren't counting on me. Because I'm the kind of guy who wants to know, if you say something like extortion, that's sexy, man. That's exciting. That's a Netflix series waiting to happen. The extortion of a sitting congressman and his politically connected dad in Florida politics over an Iranian hostage that would go through Mexican drug cartels to like pay off people to get a loan temporarily, and if they did it, they think they can. They are arguing that they have talked to Biden and he would pardon him for stuff, when God knows that's just ridiculous. But imagine, I mean, it's like if Netflix has a series called Making a Moron. This is the dumbest play out of an extortion scheme I have ever heard. Because it isn't one, I guess technically. By the way, chat room, thank you guys for hanging in there as I've been reading all these stories and layering my computer screen with all kinds of crap as I try to see what I'm doing. And yes, my hair is very big today, and I'm very proud of it. I'm just hoping it gets longer. I need a little bit more length, and it'll be good. I'm not against extensions. I just don't think they're necessary at this point. This is, for whatever reason, the story, about Robert Levinson and the fact that he is, still in Iran or dead or what have you. In 2018. This is from Newsweek. I'll talk about this when I come back. But the whole thing is based on the idea of getting this dude out. Who is this guy? Who's Robert Levinson? And why is there this much money in getting him out of Iran? Yeah. What was he doing there? We'll be back right after this.